Okay, and it's time for another weird one. It's time for another hello, and here comes another weird one. Weird. Here comes another weird one. Um, with still the same coffee and melted ice cubes. Still the long drink to be drinking at this time of night. But we'll have to. But we do need to make a sacrifice here and there. Come on, Ren. So, how my YouTube minions in here? Ah! Oh. Okay. No. There's gonna there's no there's not there's gonna be lines. There 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 will be no lies in this little video. This brainfold episode. It's honest. I'm I'm gonna be painted. I'm I'm gonna I'm going to be painfully. I'm going to be painfully. I'm going to be painfully and willingly honest. I'm going to be painfully honest, really honest about somebody, uh, about, about somebody who's my favorite, who who does who 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 does who 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 has really, you know, and I'm not saying this in a negative manner. You know, like I'm not saying this to bring Kat Blaque down. I'm saying this to build up her to to uh to build her up instead of because like I'm not interested in breaking her down. I'm interested in building her up. Like I'm just gonna be honest. Who cares if it's painful honest or not? Like Kat 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 Blaque is a wonderful person. Kat Blaque is a wonderful video uploader. And of course there's fame in there. And that and I don't want to sound like I'm tearing her down, but I need but I want but I want I want to tell you about the real Kat Blaque that I see. And instead of the Kat Blaque, instead of getting into the Kat Blaque image, you know, like what you do, like what you're seeing in YouTube. Think like I would think thank God for her live stream. Like I would thank God for her live stream content because it because if it wasn't for that, we would not get to know the real Kat Blaque. You know, the Kat Blaque that's not you know, Trudy is pretty good, and that's her being honest. No, yeah, but what is honesty when? But what is honesty if you follow it? like, I mean, she's honest. She she's honest, and I'm saying this in a good way, badass, and uh, flamboyant, um, re- ridiculously creative, and just and all and just an all around nice person, you know. And I don't mean just like she's perfectly nice. She's she's a very nice person. She she does she does great work with her YouTube video art, and and her and herself being a artist of all things, like paper, like whether it's on paper, whether it's virtual, whether it's YouTube. You know, it's coming it's coming around the same thing. You know, like I'm not trying to break down. Like, I'm not trying to break Kat into 100 pieces. You know, verbally. I'm I'm just wondering why she's so hot in YouTube. You know, like she's hot. Like, I mean, she's hot in general. Do not get me wrong on that. She's very hot in general. But in YouTube, that's the image. But in YouTube, she's she's a folk she's a folklore of she is a folk she is Black history folklore, which which is what I love. You know, like I like love, and I'm obsessed with anything that's got to do with Black history, Black music, uh, R&B music. You know, like I don't like, and I mean, and I don't mean this, and I don't mean this the way it sounds. I I mean this in a respectful. I I I I actually don't mean I, and I'm not meaning to say this in a bad way, because that's not what I'm doing. I'm saying like like I'm I freaking, you know, I love everything she does, and Kat, and like Kat Blaque is a wonderful, and like Kat Blaque is a ridiculously old fashioned soul. It's in the way she walks. It's in the way she walks. No. It's in the way she talks. It's in the way she she presents and carries herself in, in a ridiculously old fashioned way. Like, I mean, think like I mean this person, this very little person, very tiny person, is is not is not overly hot in YouTube. She's not. I, I'm not. I'm not saying she's not great at what she does. She 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 is great at what she does. She's just not hot in YouTube. You know, like I'm not saying she's not hot in general. I'm not saying she's not hot off the side of her YouTube career. Like, I think that's fine. I I think that's fine and great. But there's but there's but she's always in deep question of what am I doing? How can I please my audience? How how can I how can I carry myself to the next level in whatever video that I'm putting out there? You know, like at the end of the day, that is such a hard job to do. Like I know I do the same thing too. Like in my channel over here, brains, and like it takes brains, and it takes all kinds of emotions and brains and 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 and, and, so, and sometimes the occasional overload and burnout to do what you do. Like I mean, so, like I mean, I I like I I like Kat Blaque a lot. It's just she's always the way I'm looking at her and her stuff. It it it's it, it's as if she wasn't sure of herself. Like how like how it's going to go in the process of making these wonderful videos in YouTube. She's 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 not sure how it's gonna go. She's very she's very petite in her she's very she's very petite in the way she presents herself and carries herself. And I don't mean petite like like you know I don't mean petite. What what I mean but what I mean by that is that she's building she's she's building layer after layer of after she's building these things out of layers. She's doing what I'm doing, like over here. You know, she's she's building the emotional capacity and the physical capacity to do these wonderful videos. And it's not like and and it's not and it's not and it's not like you know like there is an emotional labor to it, but when somebody but when somebody talks about their life experiences, their life traumas, that that's that's pretty emotional. That's pretty hard and emotional hard work. But like I like I know like I know from watching her stuff that it's not that that she's not doing this by the script. She's doing this uh by the improv. You know, she's doing this basically by improv more than she's doing it on paper. You know, she can write these things out, but she's got to put the emotions into it. She's also got to put in the sweat and the hard work and the artistry and like all of these things. You know, I mean this like you have like you have to like you have to remember like you have to remember like this is a person having a YouTube channel that is ridiculously successful. You know, Kat is carrying herself as a very respectful, really honest, in fashion, in emotion, in the creativity of this. You know, she's she she sometimes looks like she's crying because, and I think, and I think that's fine, and I think that's so sweet. You know, like when she gets to the point of almost being in tears doing this in YouTube, it's like it's it's like I can, it's like any anybody with eyes in their head can see that she's kind of suffering these things out. You know, she's absorbing like a sponge, but she's also suffering uh, a little because she is very emotional and has has like, you know, she's almost suffering it. She's absorbing it like a sponge, but she's also suffering it because I there hasn't been one video yet, live stream or Tutti thing that I have not seen her almost break down emotionally because these because these are not just campfire stories. These are stories from her past. You know, these are not campfire stories. These are actual events that has happened, and she is, and and she's, she's, she's inviting me. She's inviting others to come relive these events, but in but in the but but in the specific way that she would like to put out. Like, I mean, she's, you know, like she's hot, but she's not hot. You know, she's not doing this like Kat Blaque is a Kat Blaque is a very honest and looks like she could break down and cry at any moment in these videos, and I think that's so sweet. You know, that she is. I'm not saying that's sweet like I don't care about that. I'm I'm saying that's sweet because she's she's trying to hold it together, like, and she's not she's not all that successful in in and she's not very successful in just barely getting to that emotional limit, and, and she's not very successful in pulling herself, and she's not very successful in the emotion factor because because she realizes these are hard conversations, and because they are hard conversations, she she's going to look like she's going to, you know, like, if my perspective, she has always looked like she was ready to cry buckets, you know, and I and I totally respect the fluke Reynolds, and I totally respect the fluke Reynolds out of her for doing this. It's just that when you're when you're lost on an island in your mind, and you have and you have all these afflicting emotions, just just you know, rising to the surface, like it's no wonder she doesn't cry at night because she was so close. You know, like Kat, like I know Kat has a hard time trying to keep it together emotionally with these things. I I mean I mean it wasn't that long ago she was having a burnout that I think that and I and I think that burnout was more like, you know, people coming at her and commenting things like, you know, just just being like, you know, she had a very emotional breakthrough. Um, in other way, in other words, a burnout. She she got through it, but she just but she but she is a very emotional person, and there's where she's not, and there's where I'm saying she's not so hot on YouTube because, well, like you can't expect her to not have feelings. She's 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 going to have feelings about things. She's going to give herself. She's going to she's going to give like she's going to give more than a a little of herself in each video. You know, it's like she's altering time or something, or going back into time to show you what her life was up until now. You know, and like we all have trauma of some kind. I got hit by a car when I was only 4, and and had and I and I meant and I managed to get my heart broken from some girlfriends that I had that ran up the door on me, and it wasn't their fault. It just, you know. But I'm not talking about me. I'm not talking about me. This is a Kat Blaque video. You know, the point I was just making about that was that we all suffer from something, not just trauma. You know, we sometimes suffer from heartbreak, suffer from overworking, or just, you know, and like I mean, you you have to remember, Kat is a person, not a robot. Like, she's got feelings galore. She's going to bring them out of her in every video that she makes and puts on YouTube. You know, and she's an artist, and like all this, and like just when it comes right down to it, she loves doing what she's doing, but she has been known to be very emotional. Which I'm not saying she, you know, I'm not saying anything bad about that. It's human to have feelings. It's human to have a burn. It's human to have a fork in the road that you thought you could get around it without getting another fork in there, right? Like she's like I mean she's only Kat is only human. You cannot expect her to hold the torch forever. You know, she's giving everything she's putting everything she's got into these difficult conversations, and she's doing and she's giving a lot more than just an emotional presentation. She is giving a piece of she's giving a piece of herself over to her YouTube audience. And you know, piece by, you know, every video she's ever put out, she's always looked like she was crying. But I think that's, and I think that's pretty cute. That, and I think that's pretty awesome and cute. Sorry, and I think that's really cute that she is not going to leave out her emotions just because someone told her so. She's gonna put them in there, you know. Like, I mean, anybody having a YouTube channel would be doing that same thing. I would be doing that same thing. You know, I'm, I will, I will have my emotional videos in here. I will have my videos where it's more like me, myself, Brendan Solomon, and it's the same thing with Kat. You know, like she's operating on a very emotional, very difficult conversation. That she's operating on a very emotional and stressful process to be the creator she is today. And at the end of the day, that can be very emotionally draining and hard on a person. So that's why I'm saying she's not so hot on YouTube, because she's going, and I don't mean that by, you know, I'm not insulting anybody here, because, like, I mean, you can't be the hottest thing in YouTube forever. So she's going to try different things. She's going to she's going to try different things. She's going to create other creations. It's not just all video. You know, like, I mean, there was no Kat Blaque 6000 robot sitting in the corner. You know, there was Kat Blaque. You know, she's doing what she's, you know, she's creating this stuff, and I like it, and I like it a lot, and especially love, and I especially love her Kat Blaque's live streams. They're, because I get to be in the mindset of her. I get to be in the mindset, and anybody watching those things, the live streams that she does, they get to be in the mindset of Kat Blaque more than just, you know, it's the mindset. It's the Kat Blaque story, you know, and she's putting the Kat Blaque story into these live stream videos. You know, when she's doing live stream videos, she's adding to the Kat Blaque story, the Kat Blaque story of her life. When she's doing True Tea, she's an entirely different person. You know, she's being honest. She's being truthful. She's being in her. She's being, you know, there's still hard conversations, but she's living in her truth. She's doing, you know, she's doing those, you know, like, I mean, she's a very stressed person, and she's working a lot. You know, she's a very stressed person, and I can see and hear that in her, and I can see that in Kat. You know, where she is very stressed out, and not knowing if the next video or live stream she does is going to be a piece of shit, or it's actually going to be successful. You know, like, even I do that in my channel. I don't know if the next video I'm going to make is a piece of crap, or if I'm going to hit the nail on it. Like, I don't know. So I guess what I'm trying to say is about Kat is that she's giving and doing her all to give a piece of herself in every video, every live stream, every Tutti video. She's she is literally she is literally serving Kat Blaque cupcakes to everybody, and they like what she does, and they like those, and they love those Kat Blaque cupcakes, but they don't care if they're well done or half cooked. Like, like they just want her face in YouTube, and that's right, and and that and that is wrong. That is wrong when you just want the face and nothing else. Like, I mean, what is that? Kat Blaque deserves to be doing things either in face or in voice. Like, she's a very, I'm not gonna say fragile, but she is very, scared, and sometimes she's shaking. I can see it. She's, and sometimes she's a nervous wreck, which sometimes she's just a nervous wreck when she's trying to pull off when she's trying to do you know what I mean? She's trying to do things that no one has ever done. And for the most part, she is successful. But but at the same time, she's burying herself alive with all these different gadgets and the work and her creative touch is always going to be a part of her. She's really creative, more so than I am here. Like I'm pretty creative. Like I'm really creative, but I think Kat is more creative than I am. Like I'm pretty creative, but like I'm really creative. Like me here, I am ridiculously creative, but I'll never be as creative as Kat because she's got more to do than I ever did. She's got way more stress. She's got way more stress than I would ever have doing all of this. So when it comes to being, she's more stressed than I am. She's more doing 100 things at once and doing these things in YouTube. Like I mean, this, like often at times I've seen her shaking. Literally shaking because she's trying to hold it. She's trying to hold it together. She's trying to do everything all at once. And I admire her for that, but she's really very, but she is very, and I admire her for doing it all at once, but like I admire that she's doing everything, including having a partner that doesn't do his own damn dishes. Like I mean, that should be a red flag in that relationship. Like a guy doesn't do his own dishes. The guy leaves his place in shambles, and she's the one having to do it all. red flag, people. How is that not a red flag? Like, I'm not saying they don't both. Like, I'm not saying the guy is a. Like, I'm not saying that he's a bad person. I'm just saying he's giving a bad example because Kat is doing everything she can, plus looking after a guy and his dog. Sorry, she cares about this guy. She cares about this guy's dog, but she can't. But she cannot be everywhere. I mean, the poor thing is like. Oh, wait, I just called her poor. I didn't mean that. I did not mean that. What I meant to say was this little person can only do so much. She doesn't have 8 arms and 8 legs. You know, like that's just the way I feel. You know, that's just the way I feel about all this. Like she's taking care, like she cares for a guy that really doesn't clean up after himself, and she's left to do the dirty work. Like, I mean, how is that not a red flag? You know? And she's not, and instead of looking at this as a red flag, she's looking at it I mean, she must be blind in love or something because everybody knows that the guy, if he has an apartment, should look after it. And as much as I admire, and as much as I think, and as much as this is a challenge, it's the wrong challenge to have because Kat is already running the show. She's producing it, she's filming it, she's making it, she's uploading it, downloading it, microwaving it, airing, uh, window airing it out, and she's really getting I I mean, I'm trying to say this in a positive. I'm trying to stay in a positive light. I'm trying to stay in a positive light here, but I don't I don't think this relationship's gonna last because the guy is not looking after his own apartment or his own dog. She's left to do it herself because the guy is too proud to help out, or do it for her. Kat has got a lot on her shoulders right now, and the last thing she needs is to be picking up and cleaning up after her partner when that's not her place. She's playing the housewife and not living in her truth. She's not living in her truth at all. She's living the life of a housewife, and she's not being very honest about that. She's living the life of a housewife and mother to a guy's dog. Plus, she's doing all this other stuff. I mean, Kat, Kat. Wake up and smell the spinach oil. Like, what are you doing to yourself? I'll tell you what you're doing to yourself. You're doing everything you ever. She's doing everything that she was a victim of. You know? Kat is doing everything that she was ever. Kat is doing everything that like like I almost want to jump to my computer and help her out with the dishes and stuff. You know, maybe I can cook a meal for her. You know, instead of her having to do it. You know, like a salad. I know how to make a salad, and occasionally, and the occasional sandwich. You know, like why can't like I mean, like I'm starting to wonder if she's like I wish I could just go through my computer screen and end up like like I I really want to just walk through my computer screen and end up in her neck of the woods, helping her with the dishes, with the cooking. You know, because she's doing all of it herself, and I just like you know if like I mean she's running into a brick wall and she doesn't even know it. You know, she's Kat is running into a brick wall. She doesn't know she's running into a brick wall because she's blindly because she is. Well, maybe she's got her eyes open. I wouldn't be surprised if she did, but how open are they? Right? Like I mean, it's happening again in her life, where she's the one having to do it, and everyone else gets to like she's doing whatever she did originally again. Only it's the housewife version of that. And personally, I think Kat should hire a somebody to come to the house and have them do half of all of what she's doing, so she can be able to do the other things she's doing. Why not? Get someone in there, you know, like a public servant. No. Like, like, Kat needs a maid to come in and do the dishes, the laundry, the cooking, and all Kat's gonna do is her own thing. You know, like why can't she do that? And and I, like, you know, why can't she just hire a maid to take care of all the things that she's doing for this guy, and so she can, you know, be more like that would be helpful. Like that would be helpful, wouldn't it? If you had a nurse, sorry, if you had a maid helping her with a lot of this stuff, so she can be able to do the things she wants to do and not be caught in the middle. I mean, come on. She is not a robot. And she could have and like she could have another um, burnout. Like she could have another burnout at any minute. That's how hard she works. Putting bread on the table and everything. You know, she's doing it all. She's gonna have another burnout if she doesn't get you know, hire the maid. You know, find someone who is great at maid work. Like Kat needs a maid to come in there to go in there at least 6 times a month or 5 times out of the week and do the stuff that you know, Kat is being like in everything like Kat's doing everything, and she might enjoy doing it, but she really should get a maid. You know, somebody who's really good at butlering. Not butlering. So you know what I mean, right? Somebody who is a apartment helper. You know, something of that nature. You know, she needs a not really a butler, but someone that can come to the house. You know, come to her partner's apartment and help out to do those things. Well, Kat gets to do the things she really wants to do, so she can blossom. So she can blossom and grow with her video projects and her art projects. Like I mean, geez, you know, stop the presses, get someone who can do housework. You know, like Kat Blaque is not, Kat is not made out of. She's not, you know, Kat can't do everything. So why not get a damn maid to come in 3 times a week and do that housewife stuff so Kat can do her own things? You know, just hire a darn maid or an apartment helper, and you know, like I mean, Kat should hire a. Like I'm not trying to. Like I think what Kat's doing is great, but I I don't want Kat to like have a heart attack because she you know I don't want her to have a heart attack for being so stressed out because she's doing it all when really she should hire a maid to come in 4 or 5 times during the week, do the housewife stuff, and whatever, you know. Like I mean, or get her partner, her male partner. Like he should be doing this. He should be taking care of his own dog. Like I don't care if he is working hard on a day job. He should at least be taking care of his own dog, taking care of his own apartment. Like I don't care if this guy works hard. Like I do not care if Kat's partner, male partner, works hard all day at a 9 to 5 job. I do not care. He's the one that should be doing the. He's the one that should be doing the apartment taken care of, and the dog taken care of. His apartment, his dog, he should be doing it. You know, I do not care if this guy is tired after he comes home from working all day. The least he can do for his girl here, Kat, the least he can do for his girl is keep house, or in this case, keep apartment. You know, as a token of gratitude. You know, like I don't care if Kat's partner, you know, male partner, is working hard at a day job. I mean, if he can go, like, I mean, if he can work hard, like, I mean, here's an idea. Here's an idea. Why not Kat takes that 9 to 5 job and he does all the work? Like, here's an idea. Why not get him to do everything that Kat's doing in his apartment? Like, I mean, here's an idea. Like, I mean, here's an idea. Why not switch roles? She works hard all day with her video art and the other projects that are you know, like like here's here's an idea. Here's an idea. This poor excuse for a boyfriend, the cat's got, which I'm gonna call him up on. I'm gonna call him up on that. He is the worst at at owning in. He is the worst in owning an apartment. I'm not saying I'm not. You know, he is the worst at owning an apartment because he's not owning. He's not doing anything. You know, he's not doing anything but going to work every day outside of the apartment and then come home and then barks for a beer. I mean, come on. What are you? Like, I mean, come on. Who or what is this guy? I'm not, like, I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I'm not saying Cat's partner is a bad guy. What I'm saying is he's the worst. What I'm saying is he's a bad apartment owner. If he, I'm not saying her partner is a bad guy. I am not saying that Cat's boyfriend, this male partner, is a bad guy. He can be the greatest guy in all of history. But when it comes to owning an apartment and looking after it, boy does he suck. He owns the apartment, he owns the dog. If he can't keep house, then he should. If he cannot keep an apartment, then he should. If he can't keep an apartment and a dog, then what is he doing with a girlfriend? Might I ask? If he can't keep his own apartment together and pick up after his own dog's shit, he's got no business having a girlfriend. You know, he's got Cat's partner. I am not saying he's a bad guy. What I've heard, he's a great guy. But when it comes to owning an apartment and owning a dog, he is the number one worst. And that's not to give. I'm not condemning the guy. I'm not even trying to do anything about hurting his feelings. What I'm trying to do is that Kat is already working her butt off doing the stuff that she's doing and adding the housewife stuff. She's not a housewife. She's the one looking after this guy's dog. She's the one cleaning up his apartment. If this guy had any sense, he would be doing that. You know? Cat's partner might be the greatest guy in all of history, but when it comes to owning an apartment and owning a dog, he is the number one worst. And that's not to hurt the guy's feelings. That is not to hurt the guy's feelings. I'm trying to get this guy. No, I'm trying to get Kat. Like, I'm not saying he's a bad guy. What I heard from Kat, he is the greatest guy in all of history. He's the greatest guy ever, according to what I heard from Kat. But he is treating her like complete shit. And how do you ask? And how do you figure that? And how do I figure that? Well, she's doing the apartment work. She's cleaning up after this guy and this guy's dog when that's not her business. That's his business. He owns the apartment. He owns the dog. He can do it himself. He owns the apartment. He owns the dog. Have him do it himself. Because, like, if he owns the dog and owns the apartment, then he should be the one keeping house, not Kat. You know, she's already got too much on her shoulders doing her video art. She's already got too much on her shoulders doing her own like Kat is already doing way too much as it is with her own thing. And I don't want her to get another burnout. I don't. But she might get another if this guy can't, for one, say, don't bother getting my beer. I'll get it myself. Do not put your hands in that dishwater. I'll do it for you. You know? That's the partner. If anyone can do that for Kat, then that is a guy. I'm not saying Kat's partner is a bad person, like I've repeated before. You know, I'm not saying he's a bad guy, but what he's doing is bad. It's almost like he's putting the apron. It's like he's giving Kat the apron and giving her his apartment and dog. Like, I mean, how is that not slavery? How is that not slavery? You know, of the housewife version. Like, how is that not housewife? Like, how is that not slavery? Like, I admire that she wants to do all this for him, but she really does not have to. He's got to. I admire she wants to do all this for him, but she shouldn't have to. She does not own that dog, okay? She doesn't even own the apartment. He does. He owns the apartment. He owns the dog. Have him do it. Have him get off his butt and take care of his own damn dog and, and his own damn apartment. And so Kat, you know, like I have a low tolerance. Like I have exactly no tolerance for a guy that can't keep house. I have very low tolerance for Kat's partner, not because he's not a great guy. He's a great guy. But like he's got a day job and he's not even like he can still be a nice guy and not bother to lift a finger once in a while. Who does this guy think he is? Homer. Like, who does this guy think he is? Kat's boyfriend. Who does this guy think he is? Homer Simpson? You know, like, the least he can do is lift a finger. Like, he should be able to lift a finger. In fact, he should be able to lift two hands and do what Kat's doing. Like, you know, That would be so classic. That would be so classy of the guy to actually say to Kat, "Don't worry about the dishes. I'll do them. I don't want those beautiful hands to touch soap water. I'll do the. I'll do that for you." Like, like he should be coming home after his 9 to 5 job and not be barking for a beer. He should be saying, "Hey, how's it going? Anything you'd like me to do? Oh yeah, the dishes maybe." Think about it. Think about it. Like, this guy doesn't help. This guy might lift a finger at work at his 9 to 5 job, but he's not lifting a finger to help Kat with anything. He's thinking like, what is this? The Simpsons? Like, what is this? A live action Simpsons? He's got, he's got a who does he think he is? Homer Simpson? He owns the apartment. He owns the dog. Have him do it, and get Kat out of there. Kat's got a partner that like I'm sorry to say it. I am sorry to say it, but he's lazy. He comes home from his day job and he's lazy. He barks for a beer. Maybe not barks, but he barks for a beer instead of helping her. Like, what is this? He comes home from the job, asks for a beer. He barks or asks. He's asking for a beer. He sits down and does nothing. Well, she's doing the rest of it. Well, she's doing the work. Here's an idea. How about get him off his behind and get him into the kitchen? Kat has already got too much to do. And too much. Kat has got way too much. Kat has already got too much. Kat is already doing too much. Just doing her regular thing. Now she's got a lazy boy. Now she's got a boyfriend who's not. He doesn't know what it's like to own an apartment because she's owning it. She's owning his apartment, and the horror of it all is that she doesn't have to.